Did you know that some of the foods you eat every day might secretly worsen diabetes? Even worse, many of these foods are considered healthy, yet they act as hidden traps for your body. In today's episode, we'll reveal a list of products that can accelerate the progression of diabetes and make it harder to manage. And it's not just about sweets or soda. The real danger might be lurking where you least expect it. Make sure to watch this episode until the end to learn what to avoid in order to improve your health and overall well-being. This knowledge can help you take better control of your diet and prevent complications. Let's get started. To kick off the list, we have to begin with the most obvious culprit that harms people with diabetes: white bread. Why is it so harmful? Because it's made from white flour, which loses the outer part of the grain during processing. And that's exactly where most of the nutrients and fiber are found. This is a big issue because fiber slows down the absorption of carbohydrates. Without it, the sugar from white bread enters the bloodstream very quickly, causing sharp spikes in blood glucose levels. When you choose white bread, you're not providing your body with valuable nutrients, just empty calories that lead to rapid blood sugar increases and what's known as metabolic hunger. Filling your diet with white bread, rolls, or sweet pastries is like sawing off the branch you're sitting on. Eventually, your body won't be able to handle it. White bread is a product that should be avoided not only by people with diabetes, but also by anyone who cares about their health. It's a highly processed food stripped of valuable nutrients. The same goes for another popular product: white rice. There's no denying its popularity. It pairs well with many dishes and is incredibly easy to prepare. But is it worth eating, especially if you have diabetes? Scientists consistently warn that white rice is not the best choice for diabetics. Why? Similar to white flour, the processing of white rice removes the most valuable parts of the grain: the bran and husk. These are where most of the fiber and nutrients are found. Without them, those little white grains become almost a pure source of fast-digesting carbohydrates, which cause blood sugar levels to spike rapidly. Research shows that consuming large amounts of white rice increases the risk of developing diabetes by as much as 20%. And now, an important note. Let's take a moment to compare how brown rice and white rice affect our health. As a reminder, brown rice retains its outer layer, while white rice is stripped of it. A 2022 meta-analysis titled "White Rice, Brown Rice, and the Risk of Type 2 Diabetes: A Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis" provides some valuable insights. The summary states that consuming white rice was associated with a higher risk of type 2 diabetes, whereas eating brown rice was linked to a lower risk. It's the fiber, vitamins, and minerals found in the outer layer of brown rice that make its properties completely different from those of white rice. Staying on this topic for a moment, it's worth highlighting another product that people with diabetes should completely eliminate from their diet: rice cakes. Although they're often seen as a light and healthy snack, in reality, rice cakes are a highly processed product with minimal nutritional value. What's more, they lack fiber, which means their carbohydrates rapidly spike blood sugar levels. But that's not all. Eating just one rice cake is rarely enough to satisfy hunger. We often reach for another and then another, which only amplifies those sudden glucose spikes. Now, moving on to the next item on the list of foods that aren't diabetes-friendly, let's take a closer look at juices. Most people know that sugary drinks are harmful to diabetics, but we often don't realize that fruit juices can contain just as much sugar as popular sodas or sweetened beverages. At first glance, fruit juices seem packed with vitamins and beneficial nutrients, and manufacturers are quick to highlight these claims on colorful labels. However, the truth is a bit more complicated. Similar to white flour or white rice, the issue with fruit juices lies in the lack of fiber. The fiber naturally present in whole fruit is removed during the juice production process and remains in the pulp, which doesn't make it into the bottle. To illustrate this, I analyzed the nutritional content of a few juices commonly found on store shelves. For example, an orange juice from a popular brand contains as much as 10 grams of simple sugars per 100 milliliters. Considering that a standard bottle holds 300 milliliters, this means the drink contains a whopping 30 grams of sugar, roughly 2 tablespoons. The high amount of sugar in liquid form causes glucose to enter the bloodstream almost instantly, leading to a rapid spike in blood sugar levels. Additionally, fruit juice doesn't provide the same feeling of fullness as solid food, making it much easier to consume in excess. And since we're talking about fruit-based products, it's worth pausing for a moment to discuss dried fruits. It turns out that dried fruits are a real trap for diabetics, and here's why. During the drying process, fruits lose their water content, making them much lighter while still containing the same amount of sugar. This means it's easier to eat a lot more of them before feeling full. To illustrate this, let's compare grapes and raisins. Fresh grapes contain about 18 grams of carbohydrates per 100 grams, while raisins pack a staggering 79 grams per 100 grams, more than 4 times as much. As you can see, the difference is significant, and this is just one example of why you should be cautious with dried fruits. In addition to dried fruits, there are other products that can pose a risk to the health of people with diabetes. Natural sweeteners. I'm talking about honey, agave syrup, and maple syrup. Many online guides promote these as healthier alternatives to white sugar. And while they may indeed be a better option than refined sugar, they are not suitable for diabetics. Let me simplify this. People with diabetes should at least limit their consumption of these sweeteners, and ideally, cut them out entirely. The next item on today's list is French fries, especially the pre-packaged store-bought ones. While they may come in colorful packaging, they unfortunately offer very little in terms of nutritional value. Store-bought French fries are a product that contains a high amount of carbohydrates and absorbs oil like a sponge. As a result, not only do they cause a rapid spike in blood sugar levels after a meal, but they also deliver a massive amount of calories, which can lead to weight gain and further issues with glucose control. A meta-analysis shows that consuming processed potatoes, especially French fries, increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. This information is particularly important for individuals with insulin resistance or prediabetes. And since we're talking about frying, it's worth mentioning trans fats, which are formed during this process and can be especially harmful to people with type 2 diabetes. If you suffer from this condition, you should absolutely eliminate sources of trans fats from your diet, such as margarine, other plant-based spreads for sandwiches, frozen meals, and store-bought baked goods with long shelf lives. While trans fats don't directly raise blood sugar levels, they do have an indirect impact. They exacerbate inflammation in the body and contribute to weight gain. Additionally, they reduce the sensitivity of cells to insulin, disrupting carbohydrate metabolism. And to make matters worse, trans fats negatively affect gut bacteria, an often overlooked fact. These bacteria play a crucial role in helping our bodies manage blood sugar spikes. When choosing healthy snacks, many people with type 2 diabetes reach for natural yogurts with fruits like raspberries or strawberries. While fruits are allowed, and even recommended, in a diabetic diet, not in this form. It's important to understand that the actual fruit content in such yogurts is practically negligible, comparable to the density of hair on a knee. What's more, these yogurts often turn out to be sugar traps, as they are frequently sweetened. If you take a closer look at their ingredients, you'll quickly notice that they contain significant amounts of added sugar. Regular consumption of such products reduces insulin sensitivity and contributes to the development of type 2 diabetes. Now, I'd like to return to the topic of fruits for a moment. So far, I've only mentioned their dried form, but it's also worth discussing fresh fruits and, importantly, canned fruits. You might be surprised, but not all fresh fruits are suitable for diabetics. The list of forbidden fruits includes those with the highest glycemic index, such as watermelon, ripe bananas, pineapple, melon, apricots, mango, pears, and grapes. However, the biggest threat to the health of diabetics comes from canned fruits, like peaches in syrup. In addition to the fruit itself, the ingredients often include sugar and high fructose corn syrup. If I had to eliminate just one product from today's list, it would be canned fruit, as it's essentially a sugar bomb. The next point I'd like to address concerns commercial breakfast cereals, which are especially popular among those who prefer sweet breakfasts. If you often reach for such products, I have some bad news. Breakfast cereals belong to the category of highly processed foods. Starting your day with store-bought cereals is far from the kind of habits that can help manage diabetes symptoms. These cereals provide very little protein, fiber, and essential vitamins, all of which are crucial for maintaining stable blood sugar levels. It's protein and fiber that help us feel full and keep blood sugar levels steady. There are even more traps waiting for diabetics on store shelves, and one of them is diet products labeled as light. These are often marketed as having reduced fat content, which can be particularly appealing to diabetics struggling with excess weight. However, it's important to remember that fat is often replaced with large amounts of sweeteners, preservatives, and thickeners designed to achieve the desired texture. I'd like to emphasize a very important point. For diabetics, the presence of fat in the diet is actually beneficial, as long as it comes from high-quality sources and not from processed products. Fat slows down the absorption of carbohydrates into the bloodstream, helping to stabilize blood sugar levels after a meal. No list of forbidden products for diabetics would be complete without mentioning alcoholic beverages. First, it's important to analyze the sugar content in different alcoholic drinks, as many popular beverages are not only alcoholic but also heavily sweetened. The highest sugar content is found in colorful cocktails, which cause a sudden spike in blood sugar levels and impair carbohydrate metabolism. Research shows that long-term alcohol consumption by well-nourished diabetics increases blood glucose levels both during the day and in the morning on an empty stomach. Even more concerning, it also increases insulin resistance. At the beginning of this episode, I mentioned that white rice is a carbohydrate source that diabetics should avoid rather than include in their diet. A much better choice is groats. However, within this category lies a tricky product that's worth avoiding: couscous. Despite its elegant name and distinctive grain-like shape, couscous has little in common with traditional groats. It's made from wheat, making it more closely related to pasta. The most important thing to remember is its high glycemic index, which negatively impacts blood sugar levels. Additionally, compared to other products in the groats category, couscous falls short in terms of nutritional value. The final product on today's list is highly processed meat. This category includes meat products that undergo technological processes aimed at extending their shelf life, enhancing flavor, and, most importantly, improving appearance. These products are often highly processed and packed with artificial additives and preservatives. In particular, it's best to avoid items such as sausages, cabanos, hot dogs, bologna, frankfurters, and hamburgers. Scientists emphasize in their research that processed meats belong to a group of foods that increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Another study provides evidence that consuming highly processed meats, including sausages, is associated with a 38% higher risk of developing diabetes. Finally, a meta-analysis, the highest-ranking type of study, revealed that long-term consumption of processed red meat at a level of 50 grams per day also increases the risk of type 2 diabetes. And that wraps up today's video. I hope this information helps you make healthier choices and take better care of your well-being. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care and stay healthy.